everyone keeps repeating the 50-30-20 rule, like it's the answer to your money problems. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings. But if that actually worked, why does it feel like you're still behind every single month? Because for the average family today, that math just doesn't work anymore. Hi, I am Becky, and welcome to the channel. And if you've tried to follow rules like this, but your money still doesn't make sense, you are not the only one. So in this video, I am going to show you what an average family actually looks like today with real numbers, and then I'll walk you through exactly what to do instead. Let's actually look at what it looks like in real life. Take an average family of 4. Dad works full-time, bringing in most of the income. Mom works part-time, so she can still be there for the kids. Together, they bring in about $6,000 a month. Now, let's break that down. Rent or mortgage, around $2,200. Groceries, about $1,000. Utilities, phone, and internet, around $400. Insurance, another $400. 2 cars, payments, insurance, fuel, about $1,200 a month. When we add that up, that is $5,200. So out of $6,000, they're left with about $800. And that is before childcare, clothes, before school costs, and before they do anything fun with their kids. Because, let's be honest, you don't just want to survive, you want to live a little too. We just said they're left with about $800. Now let's compare that to the 50-30-20 rule. According to that rule, their needs should be around $3,000. But we just calculated their actual needs are $5,200. That's not 50%. That's almost 90% of their income. And this is the part where everything starts to feel off. Because on paper, you're supposed to have room to save, room to invest, room to build something for your future. But in real life, you're just trying to get through the month. You're paying the bills, you're covering the basics, you're making sure your kids have what they need. And by the time that's done, there's almost nothing left to actually move forward. So when someone tells you you should be saving 20%, where exactly is that supposed to come from? Because even if you try, even if you cut back, you're not working with 50% needs. You're working with almost everything already gone. And that's why this feels so frustrating. You're not failing the rule. The rule just doesn't match life anymore. So if this doesn't work, then where does it actually go wrong? Because most people think the problem is that they are bad with money, that they don't have enough discipline. But that's not it. The real problem is that this rule was built for a completely different reality. A time where housing was cheaper, where groceries didn't take up this much of your income, where basic living costs didn't eat almost everything you earn. But that's not the world we're living in anymore. We just saw it. An average family making $6,000 a month, and almost all of it is already gone just to cover the basics. So this isn't about you doing something wrong. The numbers themselves just don't make sense anymore. And that's why trying to follow this rule feels like you're constantly behind, because you're trying to apply something that simply doesn't fit today's reality anymore. So if this rule doesn't work anymore, then what do you even do? Because clearly this isn't it. And here's where most people go wrong. They start looking for another rule, different percentages, different formulas. But that's not the solution. You don't need another rule, you need control. And not in some complicated way. I mean literally, knowing where your money is going. What is it being spent on? And what is actually left at the end of the month? Because that family we just looked at, they're not doing anything crazy. They're just paying for life, and almost everything is already gone. So trying to fix that with percentages doesn't make sense. You need to see what's happening first before you can change anything. Not guess, not follow a rule, actually see it, the system, step by step. And I'll show you exactly how to handle this. Same family, same $6,000 income. First, you need to see your numbers clearly. And I don't mean a rough idea, I mean actual numbers. Open your bank statements, look at the last 30 days and write everything down. Every bill, every payment, everything that went out. Not what you think you spend, but what you actually spend. Then you split it into 3 simple groups. Not percentages, just this. Things you have to pay, things you can adjust, and money that goes to your future. For our average family example, rent, insurance, utilities, that is fixed. Sometimes you can get a better deal on utilities though. Groceries, subscriptions, extra spending, that's where you still have control. And right now, there's almost nothing going to the future. So instead of trying to hit a savings percentage, you look for space, small adjustments, not extreme cuts. For example, groceries from $1,000 down to $850. And utilities, you can often get a better deal if you actually check your contract and talk to your provider. Same with subscriptions. Most people are paying for things they don't even really use. Netflix, Disney Plus, I mean, that's practically 2 of the same kind. Subscriptions you forgot about. Monthly products you don't really need and use. You don't have to cut everything, but trimming it down can easily free up another $100 to even $200. That's your starting point. And now this is where everything changes. That money doesn't just stay in your account. You decide exactly what it does. Maybe $150 goes to investing. Maybe $100 goes to a buffer, but it is assigned before the month even starts. And then you repeat that every month, same structure, same control. And that's how you start building, even if you don't have much to work with. Our example family we just looked at, let's say they managed to cut $150 from their groceries and another $100 from subscriptions, phone plans, and things they didn't really need. So that's $250 a month now freed up. So what do you do with that? Now, normally you'd say, build your buffer first. But if you wait until that's done, you're easily a few years further and you haven't invested anything yet. So instead, you do both. You split it. $100 goes to your buffer, $150 goes into investing every month. And that buffer is not there to just sit in your account and grow perfectly. It's there to be used. So yes, it goes up and then something happens and it goes down. And if you feel like I'm not really getting anywhere with this, that's normal. That's exactly how it works. The point isn't to build a perfect number. It's to have something to fall back on so you don't have to start from zero every time. And while that's happening, that other $150 keeps going into investing every single month. They've decided to invest in a broad market index fund, which over long periods of time generates about 8% of yearly interest. After the first year, they've put in $1,800, and in total, that investment is now worth $1,870. Not much yet. After 3 years, they've put in $5,400, and in total, it's now worth $6,300. Still feels small, and this is where most people stop. But if they keep going, after 10 years, they've put in $18,000, but in total, it's now around $27,000. Now you start to see it. After 20 years, they've put in $36,000, and it's grown to about $88,000. That's when it really starts to add up. After 30 years, they've put in $54,000, while the total value of their portfolio is $220,000. Now it's not just you anymore. Your money is doing work too. And after 40 years, they've put in $72,000, but their total investment value is sitting at around $500,000. Not because they had it easy, not because they had a perfect plan, but because they kept going, even when it didn't feel like much. And this is where most people get it wrong. They're not failing because it doesn't work. They're failing because it doesn't feel like it's working. Because in the beginning, progress feels slow, like nothing is really changing. You're still paying bills, you're still watching your money, and it feels like you're putting in effort for almost nothing. And that's exactly the moment where most people stop. But that's also the moment when it actually starts to matter, because the people who keep going, even when it feels small, are the ones who eventually see the difference. Not because they did something special, but because they didn't stop. So, what do you actually do with this? Keep it simple. Start with your numbers. Open your bank statements. Look at your last 30 days and write everything down. Then split it. What do you have to pay? What can you adjust? And what can go to your future? Don't aim for perfect percentages. Just look for space, even if it's small. If you can free up $100, $200, $250, that is enough to start. Split it. Part goes to your buffer, part goes to investing. And do that every single month. That's it. No perfect system, no complicated plan, just control and consistency. So, if this made things a bit clearer for you and you've been trying to follow rules like this and it just never really worked, now you know why. And more importantly, you actually know what to do instead. If you want to understand your money and actually start building something over time, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to keep breaking this down step by step. But if you're watching this and you're thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm already late, What if you're getting close to retirement or already there and you don't have anything saved? That's a very different situation. And yes, it is harder, but it's not hopeless. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you can still do, even if you feel like you're starting too late. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time here with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.